All right. I am here, everybody. I am here in class. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all here. Hopefully, you can hear and see me okay. We have people logging in. All right. Welcome to class, everybody. Just get settled in. Ma'am is back. She's back for
Yeah,
more.
back to again.
She's back. All right. Everybody, go ahead and turn your microphones off if you have not already. And we're just going to take a minute or two and get started. All right, we have Irene here. Cool. Nice background. Do you like swimming? You have some. Okay, I'm going to unmute you. We're going to put you on the big screen tonight. You can turn your microphone on, Irene. All right. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Okay, thanks for joining tonight. Were you in class last night? I cannot remember. I think maybe you were. So the background, it is somebody swimming, right? Do you like swimming?
Yes, I swim.
You
Yes,
swim.
I swim. I swim.
Oh, is that you?
Yes.
That's a picture of you.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So you compete. You do competitions and you try to get first place and you win. Wow, that's very cool. Okay. Well, thanks for joining class tonight. I just wanted to say hello. All right. I'm going to take your microphone off, okay? If you can
Okay.
turn it. All right. Thanks for coming to class. We'll get started soon. Wow, I love that. So that is a picture of her in the background. Cool. We have a swimmer in class tonight. We have a swimmer in our class. All right. We're going to give about 2 minutes before we start. We have people showing up. We have 25 students in class tonight. So that is awesome. There's going to be more. I know there's going to be more. Maybe like, I'm guessing there's going to be 30, 35. We'll see. So let's see here. Go ahead and look in the chat. If you haven't followed me already, I have a TikTok. I'm just starting it, okay? It's kind of new. Had it for a couple months. I'm going to start putting videos on it. I have about 5 or 6. I'm going to put more videos up a little bit more often, okay? Maybe 2 or 3 times a week if I can. So if you want to follow, I'm going to type it down here again. And it's a just free way to learn, okay? Just another TikTok account. I'm going to type it down here. Everybody get comfortable. Everybody get ready. We will start in a minute or two. All right, it is down in the chat at follow.calvin.english for TikTok. I'm going to post many more videos. I'm just getting started on there, okay? I want to help as many people as possible. I want to give you a free way to learn on TikTok, okay? And then you also have your class that you're coming to. Hopefully, you can come every night. Many of you keep coming back. I love to see it. And Orca, I love it. You are here tonight in class. Data is here again, ma'am. Nita is here again. Irene is here again. Oh, she's ready to go. She's up close to the screen. Um, Jitnapa, how do we say your name? Is it, I'm going to unmute you. Let's get you on here. Is it Jitnapa Noose? I don't know. I want to try to remember. See if you can get your microphone on. Jitnapa. There we go. All right. How do you say your name?
Yes,
Jitnapa?
yeah. Um, you can call me Nut,
Na?
Nut,
Okay.
Nut.
Oh, not.
Yes.
I will try to remember. Okay. Yeah, I'll try my best. Not. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining tonight. Thank you for coming. And we're gonna get started here. Thank you. In just a moment, maybe like 1 minute. Okay. We have 28 people here now, 28 students. Patrizia is here again. I think Irene is ready to go. She's ready to roll. All right. Yeah, we will repeat some sentences. We're going to go over some vocabulary. Let's start with that. Okay. So, welcome to class, everybody. My name is Calvin Poem Chew Calvin. Okay. So some of you, it's your first class. Thank you for joining. Some of you have been here multiple times. All right. Let's get started. I'm going to find some vocabulary words and we will practice them. We're going to repeat because we've practiced these before, yesterday, the day before, but we're going to keep practicing them. All right, here we go. I got them pulled up. Let's see what we got. Okay. Raise your hand if you can see the words behind me. Can you see the words? All right. Thank you. Orca's ready to go. Irene is ready to go. All right. Everybody's microphones are off, so nobody can hear you. You don't have to worry. You don't have to be nervous. So I want you to practice at home. Okay. You're going to practice saying the words out loud. Okay. I can't hear you right now because your microphones are off, but say it out loud. Okay. You don't have to worry. You're just practicing. Okay. Here we go. Repeat after me. No. 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 And I'm going to ask somebody just to help me just maybe one time because we have new students and this way they can learn what we're doing. So Nita, go ahead and turn your microphone on, please. Nita, turn your microphone on. All right. How are you doing tonight?
I'm fine. Thank you. How about you?
Oh, good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Okay. You're going to help us learn what to do here. So you're just going to repeat after me, and everybody at home, you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to be doing exactly what Nita is doing. Okay. Here we go. No,
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 no.
no.
And then I will say a sentence. So repeat after me. I know the answer.
I know the answer.
I know the answer.
I know the answer.
Right,
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 right.
right.
I write with my pen.
I write with my pen.
Good. Honest,
On it,
honest,
honest,
honest.
honest.
My friend is honest.
My friend is honest.
My friend is honest.
My friend is honest.
And honest means that you trust them, like they tell the truth, right? We trust them. They are honest. Very good. Next one.
Respect, like.
Oh, so yeah, you don't have to repeat that. I'll just explain. So next word, repeat after me.
Okay.
Hour,
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 hour.
hour.
What hour is it?
2 hour.
Ah, yes, but just repeat after me. What hour is it?
What hour is it?
Yes. And if you ask somebody like what hour is it, right now they would say like 8 p.m. or something like that. So we're talking about hour, like the time, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. So very good. Next word, repeat after me. Island,
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 island.
island.
I want to visit an island.
I want to visit an island.
Good. An island, yeah, like Samui. Samui is island. Yeah, Phuket, I think is island technically. All right, next words. You're doing a great job. Let's keep going, Nita. Three,
3,
three,
3,
three.
3.
I have 3 children.
I have 3 children.
I really don't, but I was just using an example. Okay. Think,
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 think.
think.
I think a lot at work.
I think a lot at work.
Yeah, means we're thinking. We have thoughts in our head. We're thinking about this. We're thinking about that. Think, okay? All right, next word. Thank,
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 thank.
thank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Next word. That.
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 Give me that.
Give me that.
And if we want to be nice, we say please. So let's practice. Give me that, please.
Give me that, please.
Yes. Please is like saying krap or ka, like please. It just makes it nice. This.
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 I like this pen.
I like this pen.
All right, now I just want to explain, so just listen. And actually, you can turn your microphone off. Thank you very much, Nina. Very
Thank
good job.
you. Thank you.
Good. Okay. So just to explain really quick, these two words, that, this. All right. So if I talk about this pen, it's right here. This. If it's far away, I would say that. Okay. So like, can you give me that pen? If it's right here, can you give me this pen? Or I have this pen. I want that pen. So if we see something far away, we might say like, I can see that over there. It's far away. I can see that. If it's right here, I'd be like, I can see this. I hope that makes sense. Okay. I can see this. If it's a long way away, I can see that. So it depends on how close it is. All right. That, this. It doesn't matter what it is. This is a AC remote, aircon. This, that. Okay. So someone might say like, can you see that over there? Can you see that? They might say like, can you see this? It's close. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the lesson. Okay. We have a lesson tonight. This was our vocabulary list. We went over some vocabulary words. We worked on pronouncing them properly. All right. So we were pronouncing words. Okay. I'm going to close this document. Let's check it out. We have 28 students in class tonight. 28. I love it. It's a good class. All right. Once again, my name is Calvin. Let's practice that. Practice saying my name. Calvin. 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 Good. All right. So just to introduce myself again, I am a native English speaker. I have lived in the United States of America my entire life. So all of my life. All right. And I grew up in the middle of the United States in a small state called Nebraska. And then I moved to California and I lived in Los Angeles, California for 5 years. So I've lived in the United States. I know many things about it. I have always been speaking English, okay, my entire life. So if you can understand me, that's great. Many of you join this classroom because you can understand me, and I hope to help you learn English as well as you can. All right. You have to put in the effort. You have to try. You have to come to class, but come to class every night. That's plenty of time. 1 hour every night, that is more than enough time. All right. So if you come an hour every night, you're definitely going to get better. Okay. Just keep coming. Don't skip one whole week and then come 2 days in a row and skip. Just come every night. You know, try to stay the whole hour. All right. Let's see here. It is 8:16, Wednesday, March 19th. Thanks for joining, everybody. Let's get to our lesson tonight. I'm going to pull up the document. All right, let's get it going. I'm going to get it in about 10 seconds. If you have some water, you need to take a drink of water, you know, kind of move around, stretch. We'll do a stretch break in about 10 minutes. Okay. Here we go. All right. I found my document and here we go. Raise your hand if you can see the white paper behind me. There we go. Thank you, Irene. You're super helpful. We got some people raising their hands helping out. So let's just take a look at this and I will explain what we have here, okay? We have this list here, 5 or 6 pages, and we are talking about frequency, okay? So how often something happens, how many times it happens, like does it happen a lot or never? Does it always happen? Sometimes happen? Okay, I will explain. If you look here, we have 100%. So that means always, right? 100%. Here's the word always. Means every time, without exception, no exception, every time, always, 100%. Okay. So let's talk about brushing our teeth. Okay. Most of us brush our teeth every night before bed. Most of us. All right. In this example, it says, I always brush my teeth before bed. All right. It says, I always brush my teeth before bed. I always brush my teeth before bed. So that means 100% of the time. All right. If I say I brush my teeth before bed, I always do it. That means every night before bed, 7 nights a week, right? Okay. Always. The next words we're looking at here, 90% of the time, usually, generally. All right. When we say usually, when we say generally, that's about 90% of the time. So not always, not 100% of the time, not always, usually, generally, that means about 90% of the time. All right. So it means most of the time. It's pretty common. It's commonly, usually, generally. We'll go through the example next. I'm going to go down the list. So the next words are frequently and often, and that is about 70%. Okay. So we got frequently and we have often. Frequently, often. It's about 70% of the time. I'm going to scroll down. About 50%. Sometimes. I think most of us have heard this English word, sometimes. So about 50%. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. Just equal. About 30% of the time. Occasionally. All right. Occasionally. About 30% of the time. So not half the time, not 50%, 30%, occasionally. We're going to go down. 10%. We use the words seldom, rarely. Okay. Seldom, rarely. That means just 10% of the time. Not very much at all, right? Not often. Okay. Last one is 0%. We use the word never. You probably have heard this. Never. So if we say never, that means 0% of the time. Like never. We never do it. The example here is like, I never smoke. Okay. Some of us never smoke. We never smoke a cigarette. Okay. So let's go back up here. Let's practice. At the top of the list, we have always. So 100% of the time. Let's use this example. I always brush my teeth before bed. And we go to bed at night, right? So we pretty much know that we always brush our teeth before bed. We always brush our teeth every night, right? So I'm going to choose somebody to speak with me. Let's get Dada on the microphone. Dada, can you turn your microphone on? Yes, here we go. Dada is coming to the rescue. Thank you for joining. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good, teacher. Thank you. And how about you?
I'm pretty good too. Thank you for asking. All right. I'm going to have you help me. So we have always, and that means 100%. So just repeat after me. Okay. Always.
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 Good. Now let's look at this example here. Let's say about half of it. So I always brush
I always brush
my teeth before bed.
my teeth before bed.
I always brush my teeth before bed.
I always brush my teeth before bed.
Right. And if we say we always brush our teeth before bed, how many nights a week are we brushing our teeth, do you think?
7 nights.
7 nights a week. Yes, good. So if we say we always brush our teeth before bed, if we always brush our teeth every night, that means 7 nights a week, right? Every night, 7 nights in a week. Very good. Thank you for answering the question. And let's just keep your microphone on. And
Thank you, teacher.
I want you to tell me what you always do. Can you give me an example? Can you think of something in your head and say, I always do this? Do you have something that you always do?
Always 90% about 5 or 6 days per week.
Yeah, but what is something that you always do?
I always 100% sorry.
Yeah, what is something that you always do? Like,
Uh-huh.
do you
Always I woke up early morning about 8 o'clock every
okay?
day.
So every day, so you always wake up at 8
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, just around that time. That's a good example. Yes. So every day you wake up at 8 a.m. So you could say, I always wake up at 8 a.m., like every morning. Yeah, that's a great example. Something you do every day. You
Okay.
always wake up at 8 a.m. every day. Good, good, very good. So thank you for helping. You can turn your
Thank
microphone
you.
off. Thank you very much. Great example there. So we practice always 100% of the time. If you say I always eat breakfast every morning, that means 7 days a week, every morning you eat breakfast. If I always hug my kid every morning, or if I always practice English every day, you can use always 100%. Next, we're down at 90%. So usually, generally. All right, we need to practice saying these words. They're a little tricky. Repeat after me, everybody. Practice at home. Usually, 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 usually. Okay, let's take a pause. Next word. Generally, 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 generally. Okay, repeat after me. Usually, generally, usually, generally. Okay, so about 90% of the time. Here is the example. Repeat after me. She usually takes the bus to work. She usually takes the bus to work. She usually takes the bus to work. Okay. He generally eats lunch at noon. He generally eats lunch at noon. He generally eats lunch at noon. Okay, so let's just talk about that. Usually, generally, 90% of the time. So she usually takes the bus to work. So maybe not every day, probably not 7 days a week. She does not take the bus to work. She usually takes the bus to work maybe 5, 6 days a week. Okay. So not always, not 7 days a week. Usually takes the bus to work probably 5 or 6 days a week, maybe 5 or 6. Usually. He generally eats lunch at noon. He generally eats lunch at noon. So does he always eat lunch at noon? No, not always. Not every day, not 7 days a week. He generally eats lunch at noon. So maybe 5 or 6 days a week, 4 or 5 or 6 days a week, he generally eats lunch at noon. Okay. Next, we're going down 70%. Okay. The words we use are frequently, often. All right. So you're going to repeat after me at home. Your microphone is off. Nobody can hear you. So just feel comfortable and repeat after me. It's 3 syllables. Frequently. 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 Okay. Next word. Often. 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 Okay. Frequently. Often. Frequently. Often. Okay, so that means about 70%. So here's the example. Let me explain. So just listen. Relatives, that means your family. Okay, relatives means like your aunts, your uncles, cousins, your relatives. Okay, so that means family, just so we know what we're talking about. The sentence here says, they frequently visit their relatives. So repeat after me. They frequently visit their relatives. They frequently visit their relatives. Okay, so let me explain. So they frequently visit their relatives. Do they always visit their relatives? No, they frequently. So if I were to guess, we kind of have to guess. Frequently visiting relatives, maybe 2 times a month, maybe 3 times a month. You know, if I were to say that I frequently visit my relatives, yeah, 3 or 4 times a month, something like that. Not every day, you know. So they frequently visit their relatives. Next sentence, repeat after me. I often go. I often go for a run. For a run in the evening. In the evening. Okay. I often go for a run in the evening. All right, let's do the whole sentence. I often go for a run in the evening. All right, so if I say I often go for a run in the evening, that does not mean every night. Evening means night. So I do not go every evening. I don't go every night. I often go maybe 5 days a week, maybe 5 times a week in the night. That means often. Okay. Next, we're talking about sometimes. That's about 50% of the time. Okay. So sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. It's about equal, half and half. So let's practice this word. Repeat after me. Sometimes. 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 All right, it's 2 syllables. Sometimes. Around 50%. Here is the example. Repeat after me. We sometimes eat out on weekends. And just to explain, when we say eat out in English, that means like you go to a restaurant. You're not eating at home. You go to eat out. You're going to a restaurant to eat out. Okay. So many times we say we're going to eat out on the weekends. So we go to a restaurant to eat on the weekends. Okay. Just to explain. Now repeat after me. We sometimes eat out on weekends. All right, let's do the whole thing. We sometimes eat out on the weekends. We sometimes eat out on the weekends. Okay. So about 50% sometimes. We sometimes eat out on the weekends. So if you think in 1 month, there are 4 weekends, right? It's 4 weekends every month. So if we say we sometimes eat out on the weekends, we maybe eat out 2 weekends. 2 weekends out of the 4, because sometimes we don't eat out every weekend, not 4 out of 4 weekends. It's not like we go 0 times, never. Sometimes we go. So like 2 times out of 4. There's 4 weekends in the month. Maybe we go 2 weekends. So just like half, okay? Just so you know. Let's go to our next word. Occasionally. So this means about 30% of the time. So not very much. Practice repeating after me. Excuse me. And I'm going to have somebody repeat after me. Nut, can you turn your microphone on? Let's have you practice with us. Hello, how are you doing tonight?
Yes, I am doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. And I can see you practicing along. I can tell you are paying attention. So would you like to practice with me? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So everybody follow along. Everybody else, your microphone is off. So don't worry. We cannot hear you. It's just me and Nut right now. Okay, so repeat after me. Occasionally.
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 Good. Let's do it just a few more times. Occasionally.
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 Good. This is a pretty tough word to say. It's kind of difficult, but you are doing a great job. So that is good. Now, let's look at the example. And just let me talk. Leave your microphone on, please. So it says, he occasionally plays golf. So we're not playing golf like every day, right? He occasionally plays golf. So just, 30% of the time. Most people, if you would say like they occasionally play golf, maybe once a month or something like that. They're not practicing and playing golf every day. They're probably not playing just once a year. If they are occasionally playing, maybe once or twice a month, maybe 5 or 6 times a year, you occasionally do something. Okay, so Nut, go ahead and repeat after me. He occasionally
He occasionally
plays golf.
plays golf.
He occasionally
He occasionally
plays golf.
plays golf.
He occasionally plays golf.
He occasionally plays golf.
He occasionally plays golf.
He oh sorry. He I
Occasionally.
can see it.
It's okay, yeah. He occasionally plays golf.
He occasionally plays golf.
Yes. One thing is when I repeat these words, sometimes they're like difficult for me, or they sound weird, when you repeat them so many times. So, if we need help along the way, I understand. sometimes when I say these like 20 times in a row, my brain is like, whoa, it's sometimes difficult to say or remember. So that's why we take little breaks, but very good job. That is a tricky word to say. Since you're doing such a good job, let's repeat it like 5 more times. So here we go. Occasionally,
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 occasionally.
occasionally.
He occasionally plays golf.
He occasionally plays golf.
He occasionally plays golf.
He occasionally plays golf.
Good. You fixed it. Good. Very nice. So that word is tricky. Sometimes even for me, I have to like slow it down. So very nice job. You can turn your microphone off. Thank you very much. Nice. Yes. All right. We have some good students helping tonight. Let's see here. It is almost about 8:40. So let's take a little break. We'll take like a 2-minute break. If you need a drink of water, now is a great time. If you need to use the restroom, is a good time. If you need to blow your nose, it's a good time. Whatever you got to do. Take a little break. Our microphones are off. You can, do what you got to do. You can stretch. I'm going to stretch if anybody wants to stretch with me. I always think it's good to stretch, move around. You can get out of your chair. Just be ready to start in about 2 minutes. And I will hang out with you here. We will see who is in class. We have 25 students in class now. That's a good number. 25 students. Some of you are joining for the first time tonight, so thank you for joining. I hope you can all see and hear me okay. I do my best at wearing a microphone so that you can hear me. I try to make it good video for you so that we can learn in the easiest way possible. So thank you all for coming back. If you have your camera off, go ahead and turn your camera on if you want to join in with the class. We have many students with the camera on, but there are some students with the camera off. So if you want to join in, get the camera on. Microphones are off. Don't worry. We like it nice and quiet in the classroom. And if I call on you, we will talk with the microphone on. But I just like to talk with about one student at a time so we don't get too crazy. We don't have too many people talking at the same time. I know many of you want to hear me talk. You want to hear my voice. You want to get used to me speaking. And you are interested in hearing how a native English speaker speaks from the United States. So that is why I talk during our breaks. I just want you to get familiar with how I talk, get used to hearing me speak in complete sentences. You'll just get used to it more and more when you listen. So I hope that you can understand me clearly. Many of you are in class because you can understand me, and I love it. So we're going to take about 1 more minute. I'm going to drink a little bit of water myself. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy, everybody. All right. We got some people coming back. And let's see here. I want to remind you, I do have TikTok. I am going to be posting videos for you to learn on your own time. You can get on there, check it out. I'm trying to post videos, maybe 2 or 3 every week. That is my goal. I'm going to try to stick to my goal. All right. Thanks everybody for coming tonight. Thanks for sticking around. Orca is here tonight. Irene is here tonight. Nan is here tonight. Mam is here tonight. Nut is here tonight. Dada. We have many students here tonight again. All right. Once again, my name is Calvin. Thank you for joining. It is Wednesday, March 19th, 8:42 p.m. All right. So we have about 15 minutes left of class. Okay. So nice job. We're getting through our assignment. Here we go. I think everybody is back. It's good to see you. Let's finish strong. All right. Let's finish. We talked about occasionally. All right. We just got done with that. All right. We all practiced occasionally. Now we're going to go down. We're at about 10%. So the words we use, seldom and rarely. All right, so we're going to have someone repeat after me. Let's see, who do we want? Nan, would you like to turn your microphone on? Would you like to help us? Nan. Yes, she's getting her microphone on. There we go. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, teacher. What about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. All right, let's repeat after me. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready, teacher.
All right, everybody else, your microphone is off, but you are practicing at home. Here we go, Nan. Seldom,
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 seldom.
seldom.
Pretty good. Next word, rarely.
Rarely,
We're all gonna have a little trouble with
rarely,
it. Yeah, we're all gonna get it. Rarely,
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 rarely.
rarely.
Yeah, it's a little tough. Sometimes I have to slow it down when I read this in a story or something like that. It is tricky. Okay, so everyone, let's practice 2 more times because I know many students have a problem with this word, but we'll get it. Okay, rarely,
Rarely,
rarely.
rarely,
Hey, that was better. You got better just like in 10 seconds. Okay, so nice job. Let's do 2 more times. Let's get better. Rarely,
rarely,
rarely.
rarely.
I like it. Okay. So this means about 10% of the time. So repeat after me. She seldom
She seldom
watches television.
watches television.
Okay, so let's just stop and think about that. She seldom watches television. So that means not very much, right? She seldom watches television. So maybe one night a week, not 7 nights a week, not three. If you seldom watch TV, maybe one night a week, maybe 1 hour. Okay, so just to explain, let's repeat after me again, Nan. She seldom watches television.
She seldom watch television.
She seldom watches television.
She seldom watches television.
When you said seldom, it's already much better when you first tried. So you improved a lot right there. I think everybody could hear. So nice job. Let's practice it again because you're getting it right. She seldom watches television.
She seldom watches television.
Yes. Okay. Next part. They rarely
They rarely
travel during
travel during
the winter.
the winter.
Okay. Let's try again. They rarely
They rarely
travel during the winter.
travel during the winter.
They rarely travel during the winter.
They rarely travel during the winter.
Good. So let's just practice this word a few more times. I know many people are having difficulty with it. So rarely,
Rarely,
rarely.
rarely.
Okay. So I just want to show everybody the difference. So it kind of sounds like really, but it's not. So we have really, like I really like pad thai, like aroy mak, like I really like pad thai. It's not really, rarely. Okay, so just listen to the difference.
Rare-
Really, rarely. So practice
Ra- Rarely,
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 rarely.
rarely,
That's better. Yes, rarely.
rarely.
Yes, I can tell the difference. So let's say this sentence one more time. They rarely
They rarely
travel during the winter.
travel during the winter.
They rarely travel during the winter.
I forget.
Rarely
Rarely
travel during the winter.
travel during the winter.
Yes, this word is tough. Okay, you did a great job. Okay, nice job. Round of applause. Let's clap for Nan. Very
Thank you,
good.
teacher.
You can turn your microphone off. Okay, good. That word is tough. It's tough for me. Sometimes when I read it in a story, I really have to slow down. Like they rarely do this, and then have to speed back up a little bit. So it is tricky. You have to say it correctly. Rarely. Okay, we have really, rarely, really. Like I really like pad thai. I really love it. I rarely eat pad thai. It can mean a big difference, right? If I say I really like pad thai, that means like aroy mak, like I really love pad thai. If I say I rarely eat pad thai, that means like almost never. That means I really don't like it. So it can mean something very different. I really like it. I rarely like it. I rarely do it. Okay. Last one, 0%. We use the word never. All right. So just repeat after me. Never. 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 So it means 0%. So here is the example right here. I never smoke. So we're talking about smoking, like you never smoke. You've never done it 0 times. Let's practice saying it. I never smoke. I never smoke. I never smoke. I never smoke. And I can give another example. So let's think of another example. Like we're talking about driving in a car. If I say like I speed, it means I go too fast, right? If I speed. So I don't like to drive fast on the road. So I never speed. I never speed. Another example, like I never eat before 7 a.m. I never eat before 7 a.m. So that means like most of the time I like eat at 8 a.m. So like I never eat before then, like never. I always wait. Like I never smoke. Maybe I never drink. So never means 0%. So it really means 0%. So if you say you never do something, you better be honest. You know, some people say like, I never tell a lie or I never smoke. Well, that means 0. So even if you smoke 1 cigarette in a year, even 1 cigarette every 5 years, you can't say I never smoke because once every 5 years, maybe you have a cigarette. And it's okay. Some people smoke, some people don't. But I'm just saying, if you say never, that means 0 times. So you really have to think in a sentence. Sometimes in English, people will say like, oh, I never do that. But you know, it's not really true. I think you might know what I mean. Like, oh, I never speed in traffic. I never drive too fast in traffic. Well, maybe you have once, maybe twice, but so sometimes we don't mean it for sure. So that is the proper way what we say what we mean when we say it. But just so you know, in English, sometimes people say like, oh, I never do that, but maybe they do sometimes. Okay. If you truly mean never, it is 0% though. All right, so nice job. Let's just repeat this real quick. I'm just gonna kind of review it real fast, all right? So always means 100% of the time. Always, like I always brush my teeth before I go to bed every night. I always, all right? Next, we have usually, generally, like she usually takes the bus to work. He generally eats lunch at noon. So most of the time, usually, generally. All right. Next, we had around 70% of the time. We had frequently, often. So when we say those words, that's what we mean. About 70% of the time, frequently, often. Here's the example. They frequently visit their relatives. I often go for a run in the evening. Okay. Sometimes, that was about 50%. Sometimes, here's the example. We sometimes eat out on the weekends. So Sometimes we go out, sometimes we stay in. About 50%, half and half. About 30% occasionally. All right, occasionally. Here's the example. He occasionally plays golf. He occasionally plays golf. So, maybe once a month, maybe 2 times a month. Okay. Occasionally plays golf, maybe 3 or 4 times a year, something like that. We don't know the real number. That's why we have these words. Okay. It just gives us a general idea. All right. A general idea. Next, around 10%, we use the words seldom and rarely. All right. Seldom, rarely. Here's the examples. She seldom watches television. So that means not very much, right? She seldom watches television, maybe 1 hour a week, maybe one night a week, just for one movie or one TV show. She seldom watches television. All right. Next sentence is, they rarely travel during the winter. They rarely travel during the winter. So that means not very much, because maybe the winter there's a lot of snow, right? Some places winter there's lots of snow. It's really cold. So they rarely travel during the winter. They don't want to drive very much in the winter. It's snowy, it's cold, maybe something like that. So not very often. They rarely travel during the winter. And then last on the list, 0%. Never. We use the word never. I think most of you have heard this. Never. So that means not at any time, not ever. So if we really say it, if we really mean it in English, if I say, I never smoke, that means I don't have a cigarette ever. Not one every year, not one cigarette in 5 years, not one cigarette in 10 years. So I never smoke. Okay. And like I said, in English, sometimes people say oh, I never do this, I never do that, but they do sometimes. Okay. So if you say never, just really mean it so someone can trust you. I never tell a lie. I never hurt my friend's feelings. I never try to hurt my friend's feelings. That means 0% of the time, I never try to hurt my friend's feelings. I never try to be a bad person. Okay. I always try to be a good person. I never try to be a bad person. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. On the one end, we have never, right? That's one extreme way, never. And then on the other end, we have always. So I hope we can understand that, very different. Always, I'm always brushing my teeth at night, every single night. But if I say, I never brush my teeth at night, 0 times, that's not good, right? If we never brush our teeth, we probably won't have teeth left. They'll probably fall out, right? So yes, that's the difference. Okay. So we talked about frequency. Okay. That's kind of how often something happens. Always, usually, frequently, sometimes, occasionally, seldom, and never. Okay. So let's end with a story. We're just going to listen. Okay. Many of you want to hear me listen, or excuse me, many of you want to hear me speak, and many of you want to listen to me speak. So let's do that. Let's get that at the end of class. Okay. So just listen and see if you can understand some of the words that I say. Okay. I will ask you at the end, how much did you hear? How much do you understand? All right. Mr. Finch and his sad roses. This is just kind of a fun story. It's not really real, but it's just a fun story. Okay. Mr. Finch loved his garden. He always liked his roses. Usually, the roses were red and beautiful, but now they were sad. Mr. Finch looked at the ground often. Sometimes he looked at night. He did not see anything wrong. He looked in his garden books a lot. He asked his friend, Mrs. Gable, for help. Sometimes he asked her. She said, "The roses are rarely this sad." Mr. Finch was always worried. he did not go away from his garden much. Usually, he was happy in his garden. Now, he walked around and around. He usually gave water in the morning. Oh, sorry. There we go. Now, he gave water all the time. He almost always used good food for the roses, but now he used new food. One night, he saw a small line. He followed the line fast. The line went to some bad plants. Little snails were eating the roses. Mr. Finch had never seen so many snails. That's it, he said. He took the snails away quickly. After a few days, the roses were red again. Mr. Finch was very happy in his garden again. He learned that everyone must look for problems, and sometimes small problems make big problems. So that's just a fun little story, so you can listen and understand what I was saying. So raise your hand if you could understand like half of the story, like half of the words, 50%. Raise your hand if you could. Okay, good. I just kind of want to get an idea. So basically, that was a story about his garden. He had roses. The roses kind of got sad. Maybe they were sick. And what was the problem? What did he find in the garden? Does anybody know? What was making the roses sick? Irene, I'm going to turn your microphone on. What was in the garden that made the roses sick? Irene is getting her microphone on. She's getting it on. What made the roses sick, Irene?
Now.
The snails. Yeah, you listened. You could hear about the snails. So yes, he found snails in the garden. And sometimes snails, sometimes bugs can make the roses get sick, right? Very good listening. So you were listening. You heard me talk about snails. Very good. All right. I love that background. So everybody can see that as a background of her swimming, right? That is you, Irene, in the back.
Yes.
That is awesome. We got a swimmer in the classroom tonight, guys. So thank you very much, Irene. I'm going to get your microphone off. Thanks for answering the question. You are welcome. And I'm going to unpin you. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to pin myself is what I need to do. All right, and replace this one. We don't need to do this. Okay, so everybody, class is over. Just stick with me 1 minute because I want to say goodbye. All right, so thank you for joining. Just to kind of tell you and remind you, at the beginning of the class, we looked at the vocabulary words. Remember, we went down the list and you repeated after me. We worked on pronouncing the words. Okay, we'll practice that every lesson, every time you come. And then we looked at kind of the frequency of different things like always, sometimes, never. All right, so remember those things. We'll practice those in the future. So I just want to say thank you all for joining me. Some of you are very new and it's your first class, so it's good to see you. And everybody, you can go ahead and log out. Have a great night, okay? I'm gonna unmute everybody. And if you want to say goodbye, you can. So if you want to turn your microphone on, we can all say goodbye, okay? And I'll see you tomorrow night. Yes, you should be able to turn your microphones on.
Back to you.
Yeah. Yes, it's good to see everybody. Everybody have a good night. Yes, I will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Get your sleep, drink water, stay healthy.
Thank you, teacher.
You are welcome. I love it.
Thank
Does-
you, teacher. Thank you,
yes.
everyone.
Does anybody have any questions right now? Just quick while we're at the end of class. Any questions? Any comments? Okay. All right. Well, it's nice having you in class. I will see everybody tomorrow night. Okay. Bye-bye.